Welcome, 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 everybody, to the 2021 Student Athlete Success Conference. Hey, it's going to be an outstanding day. Listen, we have a lot of great people that are going to be speaking with you today, and you're just going to get a lot of great stories, a lot of great information that'll help inspire you to do what you are supposed to do what you want to do as a student athlete. So listen, get your popcorn, get your juice, get your soda pop, get your Gatorade, your water. I recommend water personally, but whatever you're gonna drink today, whatever you're gonna snack on, get it together right now. And we welcome you to the 2021 Student Athlete Success Conference, sponsored and produced by We Are G.A.M.E, based out of California, and Youth Education and Sports, based out of Georgia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's go, student athletes rock.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa, and I am from Are G.A.M.E, and I am going to be your MC today. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Barry Brown. So Barry Brown is the author of the Amazon bestseller, The Student Athlete Playbook, and Youth Character Development Specialist with Youth Education and Sports. Barry, you want to go ahead and reintroduce yourself?
Well, Alyssa, thank you for that introduction. And I'm just happy to be here with all you great people. So shout out to the team, Alan, Karen, Cheryl, Blaze, my partner with Youth Education and Sports, Coach Emery Williams, and everybody that is here today. So I'm excited about the young people that are going to speak. Known some of these young people since they were literally babies, so I'm excited to see them as adults now, and I'm sharing their amazing student athlete stories and journeys. So thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, of course. Next up, we have Coach Emery Williams. So he is the CEO and president of Youth Education and Sports. He is also a University of Oregon alumni, presently working as an athletic director and special education director for Utopian Academy for the Arts Charter School. Emery, you want to go ahead and give a quick introduction?
Thanks so much for the gracious introduction. I'd like to also thank everyone for taking their time out on a Saturday morning from the West Coast and Saturday afternoon from the East Coast. I'd like to also thank my family for allowing me to be able to serve the kids across the nation. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Emery. Next up, we have Alan Thigpen. He is the National Director of We Are G.A.M.E here in California.
Thank you very much, Alyssa. I appreciate it. I come from a long line of pastors. My father was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor. Cheryl, could I ask you to, we wanted to open in prayer. Could I have you have the prayer from Pastor Calvin Guillory?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just a second.
Hello, 2021 Student Athlete Success Conference. Welcome to every organization, and glad you are with us. I am Pastor Calvin A. Guillory, the We Are G.A.M.E chaplain, but all are welcome. So glad you're with us today. I'm here to open us in prayer. Before I pray, I'd like you to consider and embrace that your talent is God-given. Your talents and your gifts, think about that, is God-given. So since he gave it to you, let's think about this. Psalms 104 declares, enter into his presence with thanksgiving and enter into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. So let's do that right now. Before I pray, or as I pray, I would like you to right now just say, Father God, thank you for my talent. Thank you for my giftings. You know, there's so many people who would love to play the sport you play at the level you play. So let's be grateful. So I'm going to wait right now. Just tell them, thank you, Father God. Go ahead. All right. That's enough time. So let's pray. Father in heaven, bless our time today. Thank you for the talent and the gifting for each student athlete under the sound of my voice. Help them remember that you love them and that there is help, love, and victory in Jesus' name. All right, I'll see you at the end of this thing. Listen hard. I know they got a lot for you. Blessings on your day.
Thank you guys so much. Alan, did you have anything else to say before we get started? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute myself there. I'd just like to thank Barry Brown and Emory Williams from Youth Education and Sports for partnering with us for this opportunity. For those of you who are not familiar with We Are Game, GAME stands for Getting Athletes Mentoring and Education. We're a 13-year-old nonprofit that work with athletes at the high school, college, and professional level. And our real plan is to make sure that all student athletes have a plan B, which is get a college education. So the focus today is your success and our contribution to that. Thank you for joining us, and let's keep moving.
Perfect. Thank you, Alan. All right. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker right now. So our keynote speaker for the day is Earl Wolf. He's a football safety that played at North Carolina State and was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 5th round in 2013. Earl, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about your story and your background?
Yes. First and foremost, thank you for the introduction. It's a blessing to be here and an amazing opportunity. I was born and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. My mom was military, 32 years, so I was actually born in Fort Bragg. Went through all elementary, middle, high school, Hope County High School, where I played football at. I played football, basketball, ran track. It was a pleasant opportunity to receive a full scholarship from the University of NC State. After I played 4 amazing years there, got drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles in 2013. Played there from 13, 14, and 15. Had a lot of major injuries during that stint. 2015, I ended up going to Jacksonville. I was there for a year, tore my hamstring. Then I went to Indianapolis. I was in Washington for a little bit. Then with Indianapolis, I finished my career in Indianapolis. But I'm going to start out by talking about, just a little bit of everything. So in general, I feel like especially when you're young, you get asked a lot of times, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of people raise their hands. They say a certain sport, hey, I want to be a football player. I want to be a basketball player. I want to play soccer. I want to be a dentist. I want to be whatever, I remember literally when I was like 7 years old, raising my hand and saying that. When I said that, I really meant that. And I know me just saying it wasn't just gonna make me that, allow me to make it to that level. When I was 7 years old, I played my first football game. I scored 4 touchdowns. And I knew at that time and point, I was gonna make it to the NFL regardless of whatever it took. I remember he was like a role model and mentor to me. He passed away a couple of years ago. His name was Elgin Blue. After my first game, he came up to me. He said, "Son, where are you from?" So I ended up moving to Rayford, North Carolina from Fayetteville. I told him where I was from. He looked at me, he told me, he said, "Son, you're gonna be special." And that day, that time of point, it literally clicked. I told myself, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make the NFL. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't know where I have to go. I don't know what I have to do. And literally, all I did was work hard. Hard work, dedication, and sacrifice are the 3 main things that allow me to make it to that level. So come out of high school, we don't, especially around that time and point, we didn't have a lot of recruiters coming to our high school, regardless of how much talent we had. And I feel like it's because of just literally, I never knew how much grades played like a role in going to college. I thought at one point, making like B's and C's was okay. Okay, as long as I'm not making B's and F's. But my senior year when NC State ended up coming to my school to recruit me, he asked me what my GPA was. It's like a 2.3, 2.4. Me thinking that was, okay. And didn't know how you had to balance the GPA and the SAT scores. So literally my senior year, I had to make all A's and B's to make sure that I got into NC State. That was my first time actually, like literally trying. I tell my nephews and my nieces all the time, this is actually my first time ever really trying like to make good grades. And it was actually simple. Literally, all I did was I did my work. I made sure I got everything done to my best ability. I made all A's and B's my senior year. I said going to NC State, Wolfpack. Love that university to death. My freshman year, I get to college. I made the dean's list my first semester. So redshirt in my first year though. Played 3 amazing years there. It's crazy. It just going back to just adversity and how I always had to just literally work harder than everybody else. My goal, well, I knew always I was blessed athletically since I was a kid. So I knew if I worked harder than everybody, I mean, not everybody on your team, not everybody in the state, not everybody in the county. I mean, my goal every day was to work harder than everybody in the world because I wanted to be the best I could be, knowing that God blessed me athletically, knowing how great I could be. That was my goal. So literally each and every day, starting from high school, I made sure I worked on my craft. Literally, my goal was to make sure I had no weaknesses. So every day I would work on a weakness to make it a strength. And I feel like that was the reason I ended up getting that full scholarship. I had 0 offers my senior year. We're going to my senior, 0 offers. I ended up going to an NC State camp. And I literally went to learn literally how to play safety. I started playing like defense. Learned how to play defense. I went there. I remember the first thing they told me as I got to that camp, they asked me what position I wanted to play on offense, what position I wanted to play on defense. I ended up playing running back, doing running back drills. I did some drills. They asked me where I was from. I told them where I was from. Then we went to 7-on-7. I ended up getting a bunch of offers from Division I AA schools while I was there. By my last day, they offered me a full scholarship. Me not knowing at that time of point that I could kind of get a couple offers and kind of wait, I committed on the spot. I knew that's where I wanted to go, committed on the spot. So I get there, I make the dean's list. Once again, just trying to my best ability, doing everything to my best ability was always something I wanted to do. I ended up playing, I said, 4.5 years there. Number 4 in tackles at safety, number 1 in forced fumbles. Ended up getting an invite to the NFL Combine. And I went to NFL Combine. I actually got sick a day before the NFL Combine, lost like 10 pounds. It's almost like my life story, literally. Lost 10 pounds a day for the NFL Combine. Was kind of scared to kind of even do drills and everything. But literally after getting on my knees and praying about it, I went through everything, finished still to this day, like top 5 in regards to combine drills at the NFL Combine. Got drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles, where my family is actually from. My mom was born and raised in Philadelphia. Got drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles. Started my rookie year there. Tore my knee up, tore my right PCL. Came back, tore my knee again, tore my knee 4 times. After my last injury, my last knee injury in 2015, I was considering retiring due to just, I really didn't have any cartilage in the inside portion of my knee. But I've always looked at the bigger picture. And I knew at that time of point, I felt like that's not what God wanted me to do, and I've never been a quitter. So I rehabbed for a year. That's when I signed with Jacksonville, went to Jacksonville, thinking like, I have an amazing opportunity here. Ended up tearing my hamstring in the preseason. Still at that point, I could have quit, but always looking at the bigger picture, pushing through everything I've ever been through. End up signing with Washington. I was in Washington. Didn't really get an opportunity. They ended up releasing me. I'm going to Indianapolis. When I get to Indianapolis, during the preseason, I was having an amazing preseason. Ended up pulling my hamstring day for the last preseason game. And played with a torn hamstring my last game, knowing that it would probably be my last game. What I can sit back and say is through everything I've been through, if it wasn't for prayer, I wouldn't have made it through. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have made it through. And I always trusted his process and not my own. And I feel like that's what allowed me to be the man I am today. So it's just a blessing to be here. just happy to be here. I'm looking forward to answering any questions after. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
You, Earl. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I wanted to open up to anybody who wanted to ask questions right now. We can do a Q&A if anybody had any questions.
I do.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Hey, Earl. Story was very inspiring, brother. I mean, you have a tremendous, well, first of all, I'm Reginald Esley, and I enjoyed your story. You have a tremendous amount of courage to keep pushing through.
Yes, sir.
And just, you know, what are you doing now? And, you know, just what are your plans for the future?
Me never looking at football as, I've always looked at it as what I was blessed to do and not who I am. So I've always thought about what I want to do next. And I ended up getting into personal training, and so now I'm a personal trainer and performance coach in the Miami area, but also the Broward area. Because you know, I played football my whole entire life. You know, it was something I loved to do. So I'm used to doing. I was always doing something I loved to do, and I wanted to follow another kind of passion. You know, find another kind of passion. And I always loved to work out. Always loved to get people better. And literally, I started this about 3 years ago. I picked up a lot. I literally train while I live at, which is a blessing. You know, I wake up, I go downstairs. I train some amazing people, you know, and not even to me, yeah, I train them. I get them better physically, but also I know just from the conversation me and my clients have every day, and the conversation I have with people every day. I speak to everybody. They call me the mayor here. I speak to everybody. To me, the most important thing of what I do, you know, right now, which is being a life coach, a mentor, and just knowing that I can help people each and every day get better in something, even if it's not physically, it's mentally, because sometimes my clients just want to come and just talk to me, you know, about what they're going through. You know, it's just a blessing just to have the opportunity to change people's lives every day, man. And I'm just thankful for it, you know.
Well, right on, brother. That, I guess that is your final calling, because you certainly have you certainly are strong enough, and people are probably coming to you, I understand, and you just stay strong, man, and keep trusting in God, brother. And I'll be praying for you also.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And actually, I was in Africa like a month ago. I had the opportunity to go out there, do some football camps in Morocco. It was amazing. It was amazing just being in Africa, but then touching the people that I was able to touch with just my story and just my personality. Because I've always looked at myself, and this is another reason. I've always looked at myself as never being better than anybody because of my success, because of what I've had and what I've done. You know, I feel like we're all even. You know, that's how I treat people. So I speak to everybody I see, everybody I make eye contact with. I speak. That's just how I was raised. You know. And I always start little conversation because you never know what people need to hear. You never know what people are going through, you know? So literally each and every day my goal is to touch somebody, even if it's not my people, I'm literally seeing day to day. You know, I feel like, and I know I did that when I was out there in Africa doing the football camps. But we had a kids camp, we had a women's camp, we had a men's camp. And then in August, we're going to Egypt and we're doing the same thing. So.
Earl, I have a quick question for you. I thoroughly enjoyed your testimony, and one of my big takeaways is how you said to trust God's process.
Always.
You learn to trust God's process instead of your own. And so my question is just very quickly for the youth, okay, how do you distinguish? How did you come to distinguish between God's process versus your own or the world's process?
I went through even more adversity than what I kind of just explained. And then I just knew all I can control was what I can control, you know? That's all I can control, you know? And I knew I had the opportunity, and I still say this today, if I was playing right now, I know I could be a top 5 safety, of not just because of who I am, well, because of the kind of player I was, but because of, because, you know, I always leaned on God, and I also worked harder than everybody else, and I wanted to be the best so bad. But literally from the injuries, it just, you know, it didn't allow me to be that person. Then I came to conclusion, I was like, wow, like maybe this isn't you know, what I'm supposed to do, you know. Literally, maybe my life is not supposed to be this way. I'm not gonna complain, literally. I'm gonna lean on God because right now that's all I have. And I know he has a bigger plan for my life. You know, don't get me wrong, the lights, football, love it to death, still miss it today. But most importantly, you know, it's not about what I want to do in life. You know, it's about how God wants to use me, you know, and I'm all about how God wants to use me. And that's what I'm here for, literally. Right. So literally, I learned that my rookie year when I kept trying to come back, and it wasn't happening. They would ask me like every day, like, when you come back, when you come back? And I was like, I don't know, I'm leaving in God's hands. Whenever God wants me to be back, I'll be back. Literally, I would tell the media that every single day, you know, and I just learned to lean on him and trust his process each and every day.
That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to say, no, you know, I have this potential, you know, this opportunity, but no, I'm going to wait on the Lord. So thank you. That's so powerful. Thank you.
I have one last thing to say before I leave. Not just my skill level, my talent level wasn't the reason I made it. Well, of course, was part of the reason I made it, but most importantly, the kind of person I was the reason I made it. I never did a drug in my life, never smoked in my life. Had my first drink at 21 and I still drink socially. And I was around a bunch of peer pressure where I'm from. Like literally everybody around me was doing everything else. I could have easily been, I'm talking literally, I would be in the house with some of my good friends and everybody be smoking, drinking. And I never even had like, oh, I kind of want to, never wanted to try it. My goal was to always be myself, be who I am. You don't have to be like everybody else to be cool, to do this, to look good for society. It's not even that, not that important because these friends that you have right now, whatever, on 12 to 18, most of them are gonna be gone when you're 21, 22. They're not gonna be your same friends. Like you can, like for example, I have some still close friends from back home that's kind of doing the same thing. I love them from afar. They call me, I talk, hey, you know, but be different, be yourself, and you'll get more respect from that from everybody else than you will being like everybody else. You know, literally. So.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you so much for
talking
to us and letting us know a little bit of insight. That was great. I think we're going to be moving on to our next speaker. So our first speaker is Bria Sanders. So Bria was a former collegiate golfer at Savannah College of Art and Design. Bria, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Bria Sanders, like our good friend said, and I am a golf player. I've been playing golf for the majority of my life, I think actually around 19 years of my life, and I'm 25, so that's like almost the entire time. But yeah, I started playing at the age of 3. And I played all the way through college, and I'm actually just now getting back to golf, if you can believe that, after 2 years of not playing. But I'd been competing since the age of 5 years old. So as you can imagine, I've been in like a ton of competitions, and like my whole life was golf, like right up until I got out of college. And I actually ended up going to a boarding school specifically for golf players in South Carolina that was called International Junior Golf Academy. So I got to meet golfers from all over the world and got to study under like amazing professional coaches. So Hank Haney was one of my coaches, you know, before all the scandal stuff. So got to study under amazing coaches, make amazing connections, and golf in like some of the most beautiful places. I don't know if any of you guys are golf players. Hopefully a couple of you are. I know it's not the most common sport for people to play, but you know, I definitely enjoyed it. My dad literally stopped playing golf when I was little to teach me how to play. So we dedicated a ridiculous amount of time to that, and ended up going to SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art and Design in Atlanta, to play golf and study fashion, which is my other passion of mine. So, which it was very difficult because I was one of the only fashion designers that was an athlete at SCAD, and SCAD is more than anything an art college, so they called us student artist athletes. So it was in that order. So I completely agree with Earl. I think that grades, especially while you're in school, are one of the most important things that you have to pay attention to as a student athlete, because like they will like make or break whether you get your spot on the team. And you know, obviously going to a golf high school, we had a lot of people coming to look at us for recruitment, and you know, that was like, besides like obviously a good game, like they're looking at, you know, what kind of demeanor you have while you're playing, you know, how you can come back from things, and definitely grades, because if your grades are not good, you will not make. And I will say, especially going to an art school, which isn't common for athletes, that I think the workload is actually heavier than a normal college. I feel like people think art college is very easy because, you know, we're all just like sitting around painting. No, especially like in my field in fashion design was very, very rigorous curriculum. And I actually ended up being in school for 5 years. So I was on the golf team for those first 4 years on basically like an 85% scholarship, which I would not have been able to go to SCAD without being on the golf team because it is very expensive. But yeah, the curriculum is very rigorous. And like I said, I was in school an entire extra year out of the golf team to finish my degree because there was no time to do golf and fashion at the same time at the end. And like I said, I actually am just getting back to my golf. I kind of changed my course and now I'm focusing more on fashion, but always going to be a golfer through and through no matter what. So I'm going to keep playing for the rest of my life. And I do encourage you guys, like no matter what path you decide to take, through school, after school, if you really love it, keep at it no matter what. Like Earl's story is very inspiring, and you know, that spirit is hard to, you know, hold on to, especially if you get discouraged. But you know, keep going. If it's something that you really, really love, like dedicate all the time that you can to it, you know. And I think that is all I have to say right now. So thank you very much for letting me be here and letting me speak. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to spread some wisdom and some of my knowledge to other people. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bria. And student athletes, if you guys are out there taking notes, a common thing that has been said over and over is grades. So make sure you guys are keeping up on your grades and stuff as we move on to the next speaker. That seems to be a common trend. So our next speaker is Dakota Jones. So Dakota Jones is a former collegiate basketball player, and she is currently attending NYU, working towards her master's degree in public health. So Dakota, you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Hey everyone, it's really great to be here today. Yeah, so my name is Dakota, like Alyssa said. I was actually just, you know, talking to my sister back and forth. We actually first attended our We Are G.A.M.E conference back in 2015. So feels like it's been a while, but just happy to be here, you know, even in this virtual environment, you know, really seeing everyone's faces and, you know, just being able to give back after everything that Alan and Joyce have given to us. Yeah, so I graduated from West High School in 2016, played 4 years of basketball and track there. Went on to Lesley University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I got the opportunity to play some Division III basketball there. And just to touch on like just being able to have basketball as part of the college experience was really worthwhile. Like even though it's Division III, you just got to have a more well-rounded college experience, in my opinion. You know, but the school absolutely got to come first, which was always very important to me. Just thinking back to the first time that I was introduced to We Are G.A.M.E, Alan and Kevin Bernard actually came to one of our club basketball games, probably must have been 2014 or 2015. You know, and they were always very hands-on, very involved from the very beginning. And even though our first interaction with them was at a basketball game, it was really important to me, and it stuck out that it really was always education first. Like Joyce got to help us with our college spreadsheets and just weighing all the factors you may not think of as a high school student. She's very, very skilled in, you know, prioritizing like what's most important for, you know, moving on to the next step and what can like further your not just sports and athletic abilities, but your educational attainment and career goals down the line. She's great at that. And so one of my biggest advice to student athletes would really just be to use Alan and Joyce and everyone here as a resource, and just know that they'll be here for you even beyond your undergraduate years or your high school athletic career. Like that they're always there to count on and to mentor you through the life challenges and things that will come up. If you put time and energy into those relationships, you'll get a lot out of it. But basketball, now being in grad school and just a lot of things, the challenges come up, balancing working full-time, going to school full-time. Basketball's really afforded me the opportunity to be able to balance all those challenges and to really have the mental toughness to get through it, and to lean on those around you who've been through the same things. Just having the athlete network and all those involved who understand all those challenges is really crucial to being successful in the next stages. So I'm very grateful to still be involved, still be connected to all of you, and yeah, just glad to be here and be able to give back any way possible. So let me know if you all have any questions or want to follow up after this, but yeah, just happy to be here. So I think that's it for me right now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dakota. So I hope you guys are saving your Q&As for the end. We will have a section so you guys can go ahead and ask, and then you guys could also stay on after the meeting. But also right now we're going to start breakout rooms. So we have 2 breakout sessions going on. We have a session for We Are Game, and then also the Student Athlete Achievement Program. So you guys could go ahead and pick and choose which breakout room you guys would like to attend. You don't necessarily have to be a part of their program, but if you just want to go ahead and listen into either one, that'd be great. And I think you guys could go ahead and pick yours at the bottom, and it'll tell you which one.
Academic, whether they were like academic or athletic, I will like physically write out my goals at the beginning of the season or the beginning of the semester, and just kind of like see those throughout the day, and it will kind of like help me stay focused. And also I think it's also important to have a good relationship with both your teachers and your coaches, because I think those relationships are invaluable. And if you're struggling in one field, like they might be able to help you. And I just think it's really important just to keep that relationship even after like you graduate or you stop doing the sport or whatever. Is you'll still talk to them in the future. So it's just always remember to keep those relationships good and open. And also lastly, like if you're struggling with something, like reach out if you need help. Like if you're struggling academically, there's like tutoring, you can reach out to people. If you're not doing as well in your sport, you can like talk to your coaches and like get extra practice and everything. I think it's important to realize just like when it's time, like you need to reach out to someone and like they can help you. Like you don't have to do everything on your own. And so yeah, I did most of that throughout high school, and like I carried those lessons with me throughout college, and they helped me be successful. And like I said, I didn't run in college, and I just recently started back running, kind of like in the last few years. So we'll see. I might be like training for a marathon or something, but yeah, that's all I pretty much wanted to say. And thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Like I said, we will have Q&A coming up soon. I know it seems like it's been a while, but it will be coming up soon. Our next speaker right now is Kevin Bernard. So he graduated from Humboldt State with a degree in criminal justice, and he's here to tell you a little bit more about himself. So.
Hey, how you guys doing today? My name is Kevin Bernard. Came to We Are G.A.M.E about 2013, 2014 through a friend of mine named Torrance who knew Alan Dickman. Moved from Miami all the way to Los Angeles, attended community college, played football, also ran track as well. Yeah, I'm big and I ran track. Had some injuries off the field that prevented me to play football on the next level, but continued my education. And I went to Humboldt State University, which is in Humboldt, California, which is about an hour and a half from the Oregon border, right, as I suppose. Graduated in 2019 with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Once I graduated, I decided I didn't want to be in law enforcement anymore. I wanted to travel the world. So now I work for SkyWest Airlines as a travel agent, where I travel literally all over America, all over the world to help out wherever they need help at. Just to give a couple of tips to the young guys on here, and I'm pretty sure the guys who were in college could vouch for me. When you go to college, it's literally a business. And when you're in college, those coaches are there, to get paid and also for you to get educated and be an athlete. When you're in college, please use your resources. And I think that's where they lack of. They're there to help you get through school, whether you're struggling academically or, physically or mentally. And luckily, I had Alan and Joyce and also Karen Rogers, who was my roommate when I lived in LA. So I had many of both worlds. And am I perfect? No, I'm far from that. But when I did need help, they were there for me. I also had Dakota Jones and Haley Jones and, Kathy Gardner. They would call me up and talk and everything and all that stuff. So, this program is useful. And you're talking to a guy who experienced it from, day one. And I tell everybody without, We Are Game, without Alan and me meeting everybody, in this program, I probably wouldn't be up where I'm here right now. Grew up in Miami, grew up in the streets, didn't have anything. But then when I came to California, I started seeing more things than the streets, started seeing my academics, started seeing more light in life. And now here I am, 27. I'm in Nebraska right now. I'm in a hotel, so mind the background. But get to see the world now from a different view. I've been to Asia many times. I'm actually going to Germany Tuesday for vacation. Then I'll be back again. Then I'll be in Oregon for work. So, but like I said, you have to use your resources in college. And We Are Game, they're not only there when you're in college, they're also there when you're in your adulthood. And to this day, I still call Alan, still call Joyce, I still call Karen Rogers and everything. They still check on me like I'm still a student athlete. I am, but not really. But yeah, use your resources and have your faith in God, and mentally prepare yourself for life and physically as well. And like I said, take care of your grades in school and please use the resources. That's all I would say.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. We see another trend coming in, and utilize your resources, network. So make sure you guys are doing that. Next up, we have our panelists coming up. So we have on our panel, we have Suni Crawford from We Are Game, and then we have Jamal Hill and Kirsten Lee also with us. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it to them so they can go ahead and introduce themselves. If you guys want to go in that order, so Suni, Jamal, Kirsten, and you guys can go ahead.
All right. Hey, good evening, each and every
Just
one
a minute,
of you all.
I have to add Kirsten to the spotlight. Just a second. Is she on?
He's on the next one, I think.
What's that?
Yeah, he's camera's off. Yes.
Kirsten? Or is it Davin? Davin, sorry. Who is the third person on the panel?
Yeah, it was Kirsten, but I think they might have logged off. They might be having some connection problem. But yes, you can add Davin to the panel.
Okay.
And then if Kirsten comes back, then we can add him as well.
It's not letting me add Davin to a. I'm sorry. Zoom's giving me a little bit of trouble. Okay. No spotlight and add. Where'd Davin go? No, I'm not seeing Davin on the list. Oh, but I see Kirsten's there now.
Yeah,
I'll add Kirsten.
he just popped back up. Yep. Okay.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. There we go. Oh, Kirsten. It's not letting me add to spotlight. Has to unmute. Kirsten, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am. I just unmuted myself.
Okay, great. And then maybe that will allow me to add you to spotlight. It does. There we go. We're good. Okay. Go for it.
My name is Sonny Crawford. I've been a part of We Are Game for at least about since the beginning. I went to Wiley College, graduated with got my bachelor's in secondary education. If you don't know, Wiley College is the HBCU. If you don't know what that stands for, it's a historical Black university. The college was in Wiley, in Marshall, Texas. I graduated with secondary education and played sports in high school, played football, basketball, and baseball for 2 years. Each one had 2 years. Graduated, then went to Texas. Recently graduated in 2017, May 6, 2017 to be exact. Came back for a year, played semi-pro football for the current Oilers, and then from there, worked for the school district. All righty.
How y'all doing? My name is Jamal Hill. I went to Morrow High School in Clayton County. I'm currently a student athlete at the University of Oregon, going into my junior year, studying general social sciences, and I'm just happy to be here.
How y'all doing? I'm Kirsten Lee. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I went to Marietta High School. I'm going into my sophomore year at Stanford University, and I'm studying management science and engineering.
Perfect. Thank you guys all for the introduction. So right now we're going to go ahead, if you guys don't have anything else to say right now, we're going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A. So you guys can ask any of these three athletes any questions or anybody else who has spoken today.
Kirsten, this is Alan Thickben. You were at Stanford University. Tell us a little bit about that. So that's a major university and sounds like you've obviously done well academically to get there. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey as far as high school went, I was a pretty good student, straight A student all throughout high school. I feel like Stanford is a really great experience so far. My freshman year, I didn't really get to experience like the normal experience as a freshman, just because of everything that's been going on with COVID-19. But honestly, it's a great environment. It's great people. Everybody's like, everybody has a goal. It's a great place to be if you just have goals as a person and you want to be successful.
This is directed to Jamal Hill. I'm an alum of Oregon. Back in the day when we only had one pair of Nike shoes. I want to know about what you're doing now as far as your aspirations when you get out of college.
Well, as far as after college, I plan to play professional football. And other than that, like as far as like working, I just want to be like an entrepreneur, just own a lot of stuff and just kind of like work for myself, kind of.
I have a question for Sonny. Sonny, you had mentioned historically Black universities, and I was wondering what inspired your choice?
Really and truthfully, I had two choices. I had Texas Southern University. Alan would know because Alan had a backstory about that real quick. Alan knew a man named Shot Wilson, London Shot Wilson. I haven't touched base with him in years, but I do remember the name. But what really kind of made me want to go to an HBCU, I love to be around just people like-minded like me. As a kid, I probably grew up having 5, 6 Black African-American teachers. And it's nothing against anybody, not saying anything above that, but I went to a college too where I met people from Trinidad and Tobago, from the Caribbeans, from a whole different side of the world. And then on top of that, from different parts of Texas. It was a wonderful experience. My sister went there. She graduated there, if I'm not mistaken, 2015. And I was there for the last 2 years just to experience. I had to just get out of California to see what it was like in a different city, in a different state. That's what really I wanted to do. But the moral to my thing was, I was like, man, all right, skip it. Might as well go to somewhere else where I can get somebody else or learn something else from somebody else, somewhere else that I'm not going to learn in California. I think I answered it.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a very rich experience. So thank you.
This is Kathy Gardner, and I have a question. Can you hear me? Yeah, I have a question for the guys on all three of them, if they don't mind commenting on. What was the transition and how did it, were you experiencing transitioning from high school to college? What was that experience like? That's open for all three of the guys.
Well, I guess I'll go first. The transition as far as like school, you have to you just got to be on top of it. You don't, it's like you don't have nobody to babysit you. You don't have nobody that's going to constantly just, I mean, you do have people that'll remind you like, oh, you got to go do this, you got to do that, but it's up to you whether or not you're going to do it or not. And then athletically, it's like faster. So you just got to know what's going on. You can't be, how you spend your free time is going to show. So that's how I see it.
I guess I'll hop in next. My transition, when we're in high school, we think our parents are going to like wake us up, like going from what Jamal said. You know, when you leave your parents' nest and you go to a whole different college and you in the dormitory, man, if you don't set alarm clocks, if you got three papers due back to back, if you don't do them, hey, that's on you. Because in the day, your parents not paying for it. It's coming out your, you're paying for it. So I mean, the whole aspect of it is that you have to grow up. And it's no other way to put it. Like it's either put up, and we all grown adults. It's either put up or shut up. Like and I hate to say it in that way, but we're all adults to where we can understand that. You got to do what you got to do to survive for it, man. And you got to learn how to budget. I will say one thing that I had to learn, my biggest struggle was budgeting money. Now, most people, like I said, for all the athletes, hey, on the scholarship, that's a wonderful thing. I wish I would have had that experience. But for the ones that didn't have a scholarship, maybe your parents probably sent you about like $300. You have to make that budget. If you want to go to a college party or do whatever, or go out with whatever you want to do with your friends, you still have to budget that money. So budgeting money and having to do stuff on your own, it's a difference between being under your parents' nest and having them help you with it than you doing on your own.
Thank you.
All right, for me, like the biggest thing is kind of piggybacking off of what Sonny said, but it is definitely a growing experience. Like you got to grow up and you got to do it fast. I mean, like you go from living with your parents, everything that you get, everything that you do is kind of based off of your parents, to just being on your own. All the decisions you make, everything that you like earn, everything that you just do every day is all based off you. You know what I'm saying? And like the biggest thing for me, like moving away from home and just transitioning from high school football to college football, is not only the academic part, not only the physical part, but also the mental part. Like on the field, the playbook is like way more advanced than it was in high school. I don't know about you guys, but in high school, my defense probably had like 10 plays that we ran. In college, we have like near like 95 or 100 plays that we run at any given moment. So I said the biggest thing when you get to college is you got to study. You got to really focus on the mental part of the game as well as the physical part.
Kirsten, could you comment on COVID and how it's affected you in this transition also?
Man, COVID has played a huge part in my college experience so far. Like I remember I came out here to California July 1st last year, and like we used to get tested at least 10 or 11 times a week. Like it was crazy. Like COVID tested like 10, 11 times a week. None of my classes were, well, actually, yeah, when I first came out here, none of my classes were in person. I still don't have any in-person classes, but I think we're working on it coming this fall. All our workouts had like 10 players. They broke us up into like 12 groups. It's like 10 players, and we all had to work out like really spaced out. Like everything is just an awkward experience, honestly. Everything is deeply influenced by COVID, especially out here in San Mateo.
Jamal and Sunny, what was your experience like, real quick, with the COVID?
Mine was similar. We had to break it up in a lot of workout groups. We got tested constantly. We had to work out in masks. That was torture. Like we couldn't share water bottles. Couldn't touching. It was hard. It was really hard to practice. Like, and then as far as school, we did everything online. We couldn't you can't really go sit down and go talk to your professors about anything. It was bad. I ain't gonna lie.
From my side, I was already out of college by then, but by that time I was working for the school district. So I could tell you from my side how it affected the school district. It sucked because we were in virtual, and the type of staff member I was for the school, I'm very hands-on. If a student doesn't know something or learn something, I find something other than what we have in the classroom. Like we may go shoot hoops or something. But also, before I even go to that part, I work for a behavior school. So to where the kids were not the normal kids. These were kids that got kicked out of middle school. So we had to find other ways to get them interested in the topic. So if it was math, all right, they didn't know what 2 times 3 was. I would get 6 basketballs and be like, all right, man, shoot 2. Now do that 3 times in a row. That's 2 times 3 is 6. They caught on to that. So I had to figure out ways other than to actually sit right next to them to teach them or help them that the teacher couldn't help with, if that makes sense.
Wow, awesome.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the panel. Thank you guys so much for all the questions and all the answers. Thank you, panelists, for coming out and talking to us today. Next up, we have Kathy Gardner. So Kathy Gardner has been a real estate broker for over 30 years. She sold millions of dollars of real estate, predominantly investment properties. She's a property owner and real estate investor. She is also a registered investment advisor for over 10 years, where her crusade is a grassroots organization to bring financial literacy and financial products to the communities overlooked by the traditional financial service industry. So give it up for Kathy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope that you're able to hear me. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for allowing me to be here. I appreciate Alan and the crew and everyone. This event I think it's great, and I appreciate all the athletes sharing the information that they have. It's just been a wonderful event to be able to participate in. I know everyone wants to talk about money, but it's so funny that, money is every day for me. Every single day we talk about money and I deal with it. So I always like to say that money is my friend. And as you start going through your life, you have to participate and know that you have to treat money as your friend, because when you don't treat money as your friend, then most of your friends in real life, it will disappear. And so with that, then I want to discuss a couple of ways that you can think about how to make decisions in regards to your money. Will it move itself, or?
I can click it. Just tell me when to. You want me to go to the next slide?
Go ahead, please. Yes. Thank you. And so what I wanted to share is about 3 or 4 ways that you can think about how money will affect other decisions you make. Each decision you make affects all of each one of them compound on each other. And so
slides for the same thing.
Yeah, go to the next
one. Yeah, so as you start moving through each decision, then they will compound and make it either more successful for yourself or less successful. So one of the things I want to share with you as we go through is in regards to education. So with education, then you can look at what kind of decisions with that. you got to finish high school, get a bachelor's degree, get a master's degree, get a PhD degree. Each one, as you matriculate through school, will help you increase your income. For one thing, it is said that just graduating from high school, you'll make 20% more than anyone else. But can you imagine as you go to the higher levels on how much more income you will be producing for yourself? And so these are some decisions that you got to make. And you want to make the best ones. And at certain times, as you heard one of our panelists say, well, I wasn't lucky enough. I didn't get that scholarship. Even just accepting the scholarship, which means while you're in high school, you got a decision to be making financially that will impact your family, such as, do I need to study and get some A's, get on the honor list so that I can get a scholarship? These are things that will help your family in order so that have accessibility to funds, because college now costs somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 a year. And when I'm sitting down with young professionals, generally speaking, they have already $100,000 in student loan debt. And I'm telling you, $100,000 is not a lot of money in student loan debt. And that's just normal. That's not even taking into account someone who probably wants to be an engineer or even a doctor. And so that expense gets really, really up there. Then the next decision you have to make is in regard to your employment. One of our panelists said, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own businesses. So that's one of the routes we can go. But the earlier you can make that decision, the better off you are. And most of the time, when you're a student athlete, if you go into the professional sports, well, of course, that's one, you're an employee at that time because you're getting a check. Now, your check may be bigger than everybody else's check, but you're getting a check, you are an employee at that time. But you'll start seeing that maybe after a while you have a large sum of money, maybe you can invest in some businesses. Maybe you'll buy a franchise with Pizza Hut, or maybe you get involved with McDonald's or any kind of franchise, or you start your own business and own a lot of real estate. That's some of the things you can do. Or you can decide to say, hey, I'll just be self-employed. And self-employed I may be a real estate agent, I may be a loan broker, or I may just be a dentist. Anytime you produce your income just with you yourself in that self-employment. But as I was saying earlier, each decision will impact your whole financial decision as you get older. It really does. It plays a major difference. Another decision that you will have to start making is in regards to your housing. You say, man, what about housing? Well, number one, are you going to choose an apartment, or do you want a home, or do you want a shared situation where you may have a duplex and somebody else help you pay the mortgage? These are some decisions you can make. Or you can buy an apartment building and have 3 or 4 people paying the mortgage with you, and then you can start an empire with real estate. Housing is very, very important. And how do you pay for your housing, in the sense of the fact that, are you going to choke yourself with the mortgage in some extent? You just be, as some of my friends will say, Kathy, I'm house poor. Well, I'm house rich, but money poor. They have a lot of housing expense, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. If you're on the West Coast where I am, a $400,000-$500,000 house is really a shack, and you wouldn't even want to live in it in most cases. And I got my our friend here that says he's over here at Stanford. Man, our house is not even under $1 million over there, and you don't even want to be in that neighborhood. Tell me. So it's just amazing on how much money you will need in order to, have a great lifestyle, the one that you want to have. Then another decision that will impact you financially will be in regards to your life journey regarding, do you want to stay single? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have a family? And how many people do you want in your family? I had a girlfriend that I met one time. The first time I met her, she said, I wanted 8 children. I said, wow, in this day and age, who can take care of 8 kids? But in this case right now, she's on 3. And I think she's going, it's a whole lot, because now you have the kids that are going to school. Not only that, they're going to private school. Private school, I have a friend that was paying up to $2,500 a month for private school for their children. And that is when they're in the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. That's not even in college. Private school is costing $100,000 for some families. So these are some major decisions that you'll be making. And with that, the next slide, please. I want you to dream big regardless. Dream big because all of it can be accomplished. I know it can be. I know that when I started out, I was 21 years old and I wanted to conquer the world. I didn't get to conquer it, but hey, what I did get to do is have my life dream. Number one, I was a millionaire by the time I was 30 years old. I was able to retire by the time I was 40. And many of us can do that. You do not necessarily have to get the big contract to do that. But you do have to, in our breakout room, you got to set some goals. And we were discussing that earlier, setting some goals, deciding the life that you want to live. And start jotting it down now. Dream is, as Kevin said, he wanted to travel the world. Man, he's been to Asia. He didn't tell me how many times, but I got a feeling it was more than 2 or 3 times. And so he's living a dream that I would love to live. And now, but he's living it a lot earlier because he made the decision a lot earlier to live that dream. And so I commend him on that. And each and every one of you, start dreaming big, knowing what you want, be specific about it. And so no, number one, that you can do it. You can do it. And we are here with the program to help you do that. I want to help you more successfully with your funding and how to do that financially. I want to be here for you for that as a sounding board on what's good and what's bad for you. But also I want to encourage you to know more about money yourself. And so because your money is only important to you and everybody else is not really as important. So you got to know what's important to you. And if I had to leave you with a couple of tips, number one, I would say for all of us that's listening here, I would encourage you to save and invest 15% of your gross income. I know it's a difficult thing to do. Many people can't do it. Many people won't do it, but it can be done. And I know that you'll have a successful life with just saving 15% of your gross income. That means before your taxes. I know you guys are looking at that. Before your taxes, if you make $100,000 a year, take $15,000 and put it in some kind of saving vehicle, which I can't tell you that here in this particular situation. I want you to start as early as possible, meaning right now. Right now, you're getting a little money. You may, if you can, $5, $10. Start saving that because it's the mindset that we're going to train you for that. And then I want you to know the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And rich is when you get a big check, but it can go away. But wealthy is how long can you live the lifestyle that you want to live without even working. I want to leave you with that. Thank you. And I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Yeah, always one of my favorite presentations of the conference. We're going to go ahead and wrap it on up right now. And I'm going to bring back Alan, Coach, and Barry just to come and give their closing remarks. So, you guys go.
Well, first, I'd like to thank everybody for participating in this event. It's been great having you on. Hopefully, you've learned some things. I would like to thank all our panel members and our speakers for doing a fantastic job. There was a common theme here. And by the way, we didn't set out to plan that. Everyone talked about goals. They talked about education. At the end, Kathy talked about money. These are things that are important and things that we all need to talk about and we all need to think about. And those are things, regardless of how young or old you are, as Kathy said, it's never too late to do these things. Goal setting is important. And one of our speakers said, write them down. Don't just think about them. Because when you write them down, there's accountability. When you just think about them, they're not. Anyway, it's been a really fun day. I had also asked, if it's okay, Haley Jones, because I didn't want all us old guys saying things. I invited Haley just to come in and maybe give us a few quick points from her perspective, being part of the younger group, as we wrap this up. And again, thanks everybody.
Yeah, Alan, so I know in my breakout room I was able to briefly introduce myself, but for those other half of us who weren't in that breakout room, I'm Haley Jones, Dakota's sister. She talked earlier. And from Torrance, went to West Torrance, and now I play basketball at the Air Force Academy. And just being recruited there, a lot of that was Alan Joyce early on, like my freshman year of high school. Joyce makes the magical spreadsheet. I'm sure all of the student athletes are aware of like, what are you looking for in college, the price, your major, what do you want to do after? Joyce helps you lay out all these things and did kind of point to, okay, I want college to be paid for, whether that's Division I scholarship, a military academy, what does that look like? And I want a secure job after. And that's kind of what led me to the Air Force Academy. And so those two big things, also being able to play basketball there is such a blessing. For those of you who are wondering kind of what the Air Force Academy is like, it's essentially like a 4-year college. Like I still go to class every day, take about 20, 22 units a semester. I'm on the basketball team there, so I have classes in the morning, and I go down to practice in the afternoon. It's pretty structured, but pretty normal in terms of like a Division I caliber education and experience. And then once you graduate, you owe 5 years of commitment of whatever kind of officer job that you're looking for. So you can do cyber, you can do communications, public affairs. I want to fly, so flying the Air Force is like my dream, and that's going to be able to be real here very soon. And I encourage all the rising student athletes out there to use Alan Joyce, the resources. Like I said, Joyce's spreadsheet kind of helps you realize like, oh my goodness, like this is pointing me to this one school or this type of school, a state school, private, in and out of state. And also, I think the most valuable thing Alan Joyce gives us are the people. Like I just go back and think about high school, it's about 4 years ago for me. And the amount of teammates that I knew who wanted to go Division I, who wanted to have that caliber, was close to none. But I look at Alan Joyce, and they hook you up with so many athletes, young men and women who want to follow that D1 dream, who want to grind like you do. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of kids like that at your high school. There could be a handful, maybe 5, that end up going that way. But Alan Joyce connect you with softball players, track and field, football, basketball, who just take so many different paths. And I think that's the most valuable thing I learned, because then you have those peers who understand the grind that you're going through, who understand like, my gosh, like it's not just long days for you, Haley. Like you're not only on a high school team, you're on a club team, you're talking to coaches, they get that. And so the people that are here in this call, and those who even are, who are probably busy out with their sports, like keep those connections, follow them on Instagram, follow their stories, connect with them. I know Alan earlier talked about Cam and Jason Roberson. My sister and I met them, oh gosh, 6 years ago. We were all just little scrubs in high school, and now Jason's going to MLB draft. Like we were able to follow that journey, do that with him. We're all graduating college here soon. It's kind of crazy. And I can thank that to Alan Joyce and the We Are G.A.M.E Foundation they have created, and it's been amazing. I think that's the best part of this program, are the people in this call. Resources like Kathy, like Blaze, their guest speaker every year is amazing. And I just urge you guys to write down some numbers, some emails, and to just follow the journeys along with them and have them come with you. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the program. Alan Joyce has been amazing, and like definitely keep those connections up to speed.
Thank you, Haley. Yeah, I definitely second everything you said. Definitely agree. I actually met Haley back at a women's conference we had at Alan and Joyce's place out in Bear Valley Springs. But to bring it right back, Alan, do you want to go ahead and finish it off? Say any thank yous or anything?
No, I'm good. I want to turn it over. I think Barry Brown or Emery would definitely be great at wrapping up. And again, we appreciate the partnership. We appreciate having had this opportunity. Your keynote speaker was just awesome. And I hope people listened and got things from the message. So yeah, I'd love to hear from Barry or Emery or both.
Yeah, I'll lead in before you, Barry, because you're great at closing out. I wanted to invite everybody to check out our website.
Emery, you muted yourself.
Imagine that. I just wanted to thank everyone for participating. Visit our website, and I look forward to us being able to serve youth across the country, because that also is a continuing theme that I hear across our panel. Thanks, everyone, and Barry, close it out.
Man, this has been an outstanding day, everyone. Alyssa, great job emceeing, moderating the event, hosting the event. Absolutely beautiful. Miss Gardner, Kathy, outstanding job talking about that. Again, the earlier we learn about money and become financially literate, the better. It's just critical, young people, and for us adults that are, hey, we still out here building. And so it's very important that we understand how money works and how money flows. So thank you, Kathy, very much. All the great speakers, Bria, Kevin, Oh man, Earl Wolf, Davin Bryant, Jamal Hill, Suni Crawford, Kirsten Lee. Hey, thank y'all for doing a great job today and sharing. That's one of the reasons we started the Student Athlete Achievement Program, is to give back. We Are Game, the same thing. It's an opportunity for us all to give back. So understand this. These are 3 keys to life, young people and adults alike. We don't discriminate against the adults as well. But these are the 3 things that we can continue to do. All of us can continue to do. Have tremendous vision. What do we see? What do we want out of life? Goal setting. Coach Williams is one of the best goal setting specialists I've ever seen as far as how to set goals. And then once you set them goals, have the work ethic to go out and actually do the task and the things that will allow you to accomplish your goals. So have vision, continue goal setting, and work very hard and smart to accomplish your goals. And I guarantee you, you will see some great results. With that being said, thank you all for attending the 2021 Student Athlete Success Conference, put on and produced by We Are Game, based out of California, and Youth Education and Sports, based out of Georgia. And if you have any other questions, hang out, do your thing online here. Alyssa will give you the information for doing that. And check out the chat room. Our numbers, our websites are in the chat room. And hey, we are here to support you. We want all you student athletes to be successful in life. One love.
Yeah, one more thing. Sorry about that. I just want to thank everybody for coming and being here. And I also just want to thank Alan, Barry, and Emery for putting this together. You guys have been great mentors for all of us. And I'd also like to thank everybody that was doing stuff in the background. So there's a lot of things that went on to help make this happen today. And I want to thank all of you guys, Cheryl, Blaze, Karen, anybody else who helped make this happen today. I want to send a big thank you to you guys. And yeah, like I said, everybody could stick around for a Q&A if anybody has any further questions or want to get contacts. But one thing I wanted to ask before we finished is if everybody could stay on for our closing prayer. So Cheryl, we could go ahead and play that.
Hello, everybody. It's Pastor Calvin Guillory again. Let's go before the Father as I close us in prayer. Father in heaven, we began our time acknowledging you and thanking you for our talent and our giftings. As the chaplain for today's proceedings, I request that you, Father in heaven, exponentially increase and the talent level of each student athlete and every professional athlete that I hear are tuned in today and under the sound of my voice. As they pray to you, I ask that you respond to their prayers and show them your glory. Help them in the classroom, during training, in games, in their personal relationships, and protect them from injuries in Jesus' name. Success Conference, may the Lord bless you. May his face shine upon you. May his grace be all over you, and may he give you peace, victory in every area of your life. This is Pastor Calvin A. Guillory saying goodbye. Keep focused and contact your mentors. Love you guys. Blessings and see ya.